Hello, everybody. This is Matty Greenspan and Matthew Newton from eToro. We just wanted to have a quick discussion about what's going on. There's a lot happening in the markets today. Just to analyze it, actually, I've been so incredibly busy that I haven't had much of a time to look, so we're just going to do that in live and just see what's happening. I think Matthew's been a little bit more on top of it. At least he caught the end of Draghi's speech. So maybe you can fill us in a little bit. What's going on there?
No, I think I didn't catch all of it. I read the news and caught the end, but it seems like he was fairly neutral. I think some traders were expecting that he might be quite dovish, and they were saying that it would send the euro down. I think he said that overall the economic conditions were good despite some bad data coming out in Q1. But he kind of made, well, I can't remember everything he said, but he pointed to a few different factors as to why that might be. But they're not overly concerned. But there was no change on anything. I think he's continuing with the QE. I guess September through to September anyway. And initially the euro dollar rose, but since we started this hangout, I can see it's actually falling even further. So I think 120, 150 was a strong support level, and if I'm not mistaken, it may have gone through that by the looks of things. So I guess the market did take it as quite a dovish stance, and yeah, the euro was sold off.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the euro now. I put it up on the screen here. Yeah, you can see that little spike. I guess that's when Draghi started talking, and look at it now.
Yeah.
Much lower. And then, if we zoom out, and this is a chart that I put in the daily as well today, right? So the euro's been going up for a year-ish. Yeah, almost a year now. And I mean, it came into some resistance at $1.25, and now it's fallen through. So I think that this is actually like a nice level of support. This would be a good level to test here. If we look at, where is it, right here, exactly 121.00. We're 14 pips above that at the moment. So if we break through, you can see this level was tested here. It was a breakout level here. If we manage to break below that, then maybe even look for the next support.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's working out. I mean, if you look at that upper area, that congested area, it's actually aspect of triangle. So I took a short position there after it fell out. So I'm still short at the moment. So that's working nicely.
Right on. I want to say hi to Samuel Burke from CNN, who's watching us today. Hey Sam, thanks for watching, and hope you're enjoying in Dubai. That's awesome. And a reminder, anybody else who's watching, go ahead, feel free to say something on the chat here. This is a live stream, so anything goes. Feel free to ask, what do you want to talk about, which market specifically interests you, and we'll definitely get into a little bit of analysis on that. So right on. So overall, dovish from Draghi, it seems. Draghi was being like, we're going to continue QE. We're going to continue with the negative interest rate or low interest rate, record low interest rate policy for the foreseeable future. Bolos Shakur. Hey, Bolos. He's waving at me.
Said that he was. They weren't. I think they were expecting. Some analysts or some people were forecasting that they may comment on the currency being at high level. But he actually said that they haven't talked about it, where the currency is. And pretty much said that there's no, imply that they don't really have any concerns, or it hasn't been.
Okay.
So yeah, they were wondering that maybe the currency might have been an issue for Eurozone trade, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the British pound. Sam's asking about the pound because of the Americans living in the UK. Well, I suppose we all have our own interests here. But the pound has been pretty interesting today, and I think that it generally speaking bounces back and forth between updates from the UK Parliament and updates, about the Brexit, and then updates from Mark Carney about the central bank. So today, I guess it was about Parliament, right?
But I mean, there's been a few issues with Parliament. I think, to be fair, the main driver for the pound over the last while has been interest rate expectations. So it was rising on the basis that they were going to raise interest rates, that everything was, in the economy was good, and then all of a sudden there was some bad data out, and actually Mark Carney or someone from the MPC or the Bank of England were a bit cool on rate rises, and since then it's driven off. But of course, there is always Brexit, ongoing Brexit issues. The House of the Customs Union is in focus at the moment. So Theresa May said that they may come out of the Customs Union. The House of Lords, which is the upper house, rejected that. The House of Commons can also have their say. There's also a bit of friction going on right now with Amber Rudd, who is the Home Secretary, and with some issues over, I don't know. I'm not too up to date on it, so I just have limited knowledge on it. But yeah, there's some issue with former Commonwealth people who arrived from Commonwealth in the past, and they're having some benefits and things taken from them. So I don't
So
know. It's a
how
bit.
could this affect the pound going forward? I mean, what are the ramifications here? I mean, so just looking at this chart, right? This is the chart that we can see that big old nasty fall in the British pound on the night of the Brexit referendum. We all remember that one.
Yeah.
And then a couple of months later, another nasty fall. But since then, we've been kind of rising, pretty steadily. And we can actually put this nice line on the chart, which shows the support long term.
Mm.
And I think we're just about at that line of support, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, or maybe we can draw it this way, right? That'll be, this that breakout over there. But we've pretty much recovered. The pound has pretty much recovered from the night of the Brexit, almost.
Yeah.
Question is, this support line, does it hold? I mean, do we see it dropping past that, maybe down to 135 region before before seeing upward movement, or does it hold and then we see the pound returning to more normal, historically normal levels, 140 set 145 150 level, and then the question would be, what would it take, to hold that support at
Yeah.
the moment?
Well, I think like with most things at the moment, the dollar is driving everything. So the pound was benefiting from a weaker dollar at one point, and then there was a couple of things that strengthened its position, like the transition deal that it struck with the Parliament struck with the EU, and then there was
Hmm.
anticipation of the rate rise. But now, now a lot of central banks have turned quite dovish, but the US or the Fed are actually getting quite, quite well. They're looking at
Yeah.
raising rates. So I think right now there's always going to be a bit of Brexit back and forth because there's so many unanswered questions and don't seem to be making progress. They kicked it down the road with the transition deal. But the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of strength now coming with the US, with the dollar and rate rises. So I think that's probably going to be the key driver in the short term.
Okay, so we have, I believe, the Bank of England is going to be talking on May 10th. I want to say, if the specific date there.
Yes, yeah.
Uh, they're going to have the interest rate decision in the UK. What do you think? What is the market consensus at the moment? Are they going to raise the interest rate on May 10th, or are they not? I know that is a big question at the moment. What do you feel?
Yeah, as I said, I think the market not expecting the rates to stay the same. That's why the pound weakened off in the last week or so. So as of now, yeah, I think there's cool talk after some weak data on rates. So right now, at the moment, I think it'll stay the same.
Okay, so if market consensus is that we're not necessarily going to see a rate rise. So Carney has an option here if he wants to potentially raise the pound by enacting that rate decision. And as if I remember correctly, the consensus was that there was going to be a rate rise, and then, as you said, weak data. And I think that even Carney came out a few days ago and said, by the way, we're not necessarily going to raise the interest rate. So
Yeah,
certainly if he does, that would be quite a surprise in the market. And I think that that could shoot the pound up by at least 150 to 200 pips,
yeah,
in the minimum, because there isn't an expectation of it. But short of that, if he disappoints or if he upholds the market consensus and doesn't raise the interest rate, certainly we'd be able to. I think that the pound might at least stay steady, but could fall
yeah.
a little bit on that. They would then look at the specifics of the policy statement and find out what how the Bank of England sees. But we still, I mean, if that's May 10th, I mean, we still have 2 weeks to go before that happens. So I think that that's at this point going to be something that the market is anticipating. So certainly we'll have to keep an eye on that one. We have also Box Clever asking about gold and if gold is a good investment for Russia. I'm not sure. I don't really understand the question there.
I think the
Yeah,
Russians have been buying up a lot of gold of late. So yeah, I think I don't know whether it's related to that, but yeah, I think the Russians have been buying a lot of gold over the last couple of years.
uh, all right, cool. So somebody asking about ECA coin, dude. I've never heard of ECA coins. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think that we're going to add it anytime soon. When eToro adds cryptocurrencies, we generally add the ones that have a strong market usage, strong liquidity, strong volumes, and that people are generally familiar with.
Community.
Um, Sam is saying, all about Carney. Who knew that Canada would get all the power when the UK decided to leave the EU? Oh my gosh, yeah. That's well,
I don't quite get it. What's that?
so I assume that Sam is asking about or talking about referring to the trade negotiations specifically. Canada just put together a pretty powerful trade pack. Oh, because Carney's Canadian. Sure, Sam. If you want to join us, let me just send you a link. I don't know if you're by your laptop or if you've got a webcam or a headset or whatever, but I'll send you a link on Twitter now where you can join us in this hangout. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. What about gold? What are your thoughts on gold?
I actually haven't looked at gold in a couple of weeks, but last time I was looking at it, it was at that resistance level again, really strong resistance. And I was thinking to myself, if it could break above it and hold it, I'd be long gold for the foreseeable future. But it didn't. It went in the other direction. So I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it since.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at. We got somebody asking here, so we might as well, right?
Yeah, pull up the chart. Let's have a look.
Yeah, gold. All right, what we got here? Well, it seems like enough time has passed that the steep incline, at least, is not as prevalent.
Yeah, if you go out, you see that's let's say that last spike up on the very right hand side.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big level there. If you go right out on the chart, you can see that goes right across the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Trend line there. So
okay, so let's see if we can get a weekly chart up here.
yeah, weekly is good.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, it's 1350. It seems is a I wouldn't say a strong resistance because it has broken above it a few false breakouts.
Yeah.
But I think that it will be a significant line. Maybe if we push it up
Yeah.
1370, but that's already far away. See, so that 1350 level, right? That's a significant level, but you can see the market has stepped over it a few times.
Yeah.
Well, what you're saying is historically, yeah, look at that. It held up as support on that. I don't remember. You remember? I'm sure this big fall that happened like overnight. It was like one night when gold fell like $200-300 an ounce. That was a lot of fun. And a lot of people readjusting their portfolios pretty quickly that day, and then a lot of short-term traders just jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if we can get up above that and hold, look, there might be there is a good case for gold, and to have gold in your portfolio at least. I'm not talking about short-term trading because there isn't all that much momentum on it, but with the amount of money that's being pumped into the system, or that's been pumped into the system over the last 10 years. That's so when they do the quantitative easing, the fear originally was that that was going to spur inflation because there's more money in the system, right? So the price of money should go down, and that's why all of this move happened, right? So 2008 or 2009 when they first announced the quantitative easing measures, and we can't see it on this chart too clearly, but yeah, here's 2009. That's when gold really took a run up, right? Surpassing $1,000. I remember when it passed $1,000 for the first time ever. Everybody got all excited. It went all the way up almost to $2,000. But since then, we haven't seen that massive inflation that everybody was expecting. The question is, will that inflation come, right? Because that money is still there, and perhaps as as the markets keep turning and as the global financial engine keeps running, there is a big possibility that the amount of money that was injected could spur inflation, and that's one of the things that all of the central bankers are worried about. If the Fed, as you mentioned, is considering getting aggressive on their interest rate rises for that very reason, right? Because there is more liquidity in the system, they fear that it could indeed spark inflation. So I believe that if there is higher levels, or as there is higher levels of inflation, there'll be a much stronger case to buy gold. But as I don't know, the inflation is so much not a problem that even Mark Carney is saying, hey, let's keep our interest rate rises on hold for the moment because we really don't need to. So that case for gold kind of dissipates. However, I do believe that having gold in your portfolio to the tune of 5% or 10% on low leverage is something that can be very stabilizing for any investment account.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're buying gold right now, or you're looking to trade to the long side, based just on that chart there, probably hold off a little bit.
Yeah, so for a breakout, right? But my thing is, I've been waiting for the. I mean, I'll zoom back in on the more short-term chart, but so as a trader, what I'd like to see, is something more along the lines of 1270, 1280 for an entry. Because while we're up here, we still have historically. So even we can put a moving average on this chart, I think would be incredibly helpful. So we could say like the last 200-day moving average, right? Where is the average price? Well, I have a yellow line. Let's put that one in blue. Right, and you can see that the moving average, the 200-day moving average, is around 1,300 at the moment. So I do believe that if we see, I don't know, a breakout here, right, we see that support, right, 1,300, obviously big round number, psychological support line. So even a breakout, I think I would assume that there'll be a lot of stop losses piling up here. So even a small step below 1,300 could cause it to go down to 1,290, 1,280 in a matter of moments, possibly. And that would be an excellent place for like an entry order or something, right along this long-term trend line. And then, zooming out, be like all of this space up here, which is just room to grow.
Yeah. You would fear any break above that break above that line and into that area. There's going to be something seriously wrong in the system, though, isn't there?
Yeah, either something wrong or inflation expectations above what they are now. I mean, in the UK, inflation's a bit out of control. Their announcement was 2.3% on the last quarterly report, but they were expecting 2.7%. So it's actually good that inflation in the UK was lower than expected. But in the United States, they're still not even getting to the 2% inflation, which is their target. So it's going to be a difficult case to buy gold when inflation is kind of stagnant, I think.
Yeah.
But that's for that. So, but I do see, obviously we get a breakout above 1350, something sustained, 1350, 1370, even 1400. That could cause even possibly a Bitcoin type of surge if investors jump on that momentum.
Gold traders love to pump up that leverage, so with a bit of leverage, you can certainly make it a Bitcoin style move.
Don't we all? Yeah, obviously we have to put the regular disclaimers in place. Leverage trading is considered risky and not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not an indication of future results, and cryptocurrencies are particularly risky. Would you like to talk about cryptocurrencies?
I always love. Always a pleasure to talk about currencies.
Yeah, we had a raging market there for a bit. What happened?
Well, actually, I heard from a reliable source within the office that there's Bitcoin moving from the Mt. Gox wallet at the moment.
Really?
I wonder could that. Now we don't know where it's gone, but yeah, I wonder has that got something to do with it.
Interesting. Yeah, that Mt. Gox thing, I think that definitely played a role in depressing the markets a little bit. So what happens in Bitcoin a lot of the time is, so Bitcoin is an amazing, form of technology and new type of money, but the distribution is not always ideal, I would say. So people who are early adopters of Bitcoin are sitting on huge stockpiles, and then the Mt. Gox, those guys have quite a significant amount that they're interested in selling. So they did sell off some of it. If you're saying a lot, some of it is moving now, I think that's something that we would need to watch out for. So
I mean,
definitely.
I haven't verified it myself, but the source is usually reliable, and obviously the beauty of the blockchain, and one of the key things about the blockchain is that all this stuff is very visible. It's very transparent, and there's obviously people in the community who are keeping an eye on that wallet. They know what it is, and there seems to be flow out of it in the last couple of days. So I don't know what wallet it is, but yeah, that's the news I'm getting.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find while we're on the air, if I can find something about it. But if not, let's see, Bitcoin address, Mt. Gox cold wallet monitor from CryptoGround. This could be interesting.
Lovely.
All right, let's take a look. No move, no move, no move. Oh, what's this? Oh yeah, oh yeah. We do have movement. Oh boy.
Interesting.
Both on the BTC and on Bitcoin Cash. Because remember, they were holding on to their Bitcoin when the Bitcoin Cash hard fork happened.
Of course.
So
Bitcoin Cash.
yeah, they've got Bitcoin Cash holdings as well. So what it looks like, at least from this website, is that we do have some movement. I don't know exactly when that happened, but we can check. Blockchain info. And we'll just stick that public key into there. I see the last transaction happened April 26th Oh boy, I don't know who told you that, but they were right on the money. We have Kobayashi wallet movement at the moment. Oh boy, that's 2,000 coins that just
Yeah.
moved. And let's see the other one. And
There's no reason for the sell-off yesterday, but the market had appreciated for about a week, so it's only quite normal. But that was an aggressive sell-off yesterday. It was like the red candle was aggressive.
look, even in a but even in a bull market, we do get $1,000 pullbacks. That's not
I
this,
know.
right? So it was 9,750.
I'm sensitive at the moment because I'd certainly like to see Bitcoin back above 12K before I'd be confident that we're out of the most recent one. Although I do think the worst is behind us, but I have the antennae up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Antenna up is exactly the right way to put it. But looks like, I don't know. Looks like we see several. Yeah, look at that. 8,000 BTC. Wow. It's going to be difficult to find out exactly where these coins are going, but look at this. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 16,000 coins, bro.
What?
Yeah. 16,000 coins movement. So question is, what is he doing with them? He may in fact be about to dump them.
Yeah, or he may have already started.
He could have, yeah. Maybe maybe that's what happened yesterday to the bull run, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, but those transactions are today.
Yeah, it would have been yeah. So
Those transactions are from today, so that was not what happened yesterday.
unless I don't know if there's other ones.
That's it.
I just hope I hope that's all OTC. They learned from the previous ones, but I'm not sure.
Oh boy. Okay, cool. Hey Ryan, how's it going? All right, so that's a bit of depressing news for today. Not sure what's going to happen there, but look, long term, whatever Kobayashi and Mount Gox do, as they, I hope that they do more gradual selling of their assets. However, in theory, whenever they sell out their coins, those are presumably going to be bought by newer investors or many different investors. So, like I mentioned, Bitcoin has a problem of distribution. So, even though this is painful in the short term, where we see large amounts of coins going onto the market all at once, those are bought by new investors. And it does help with the distribution, the decentralization of Bitcoin overall. So,
Great.
look, maybe we see lower than prices lower than 8,800, but for newer investors, that's fantastic, right? Because they get an opportunity to get in at a lower price.
For sure.
Block Clever. You only mentioned cannabis earlier. Are eToro taking any particular steps into this field? Yeah, so Yoni Assia was just on the quarterly investor call. Yoni Assia is amazing, by the way. I don't know if anybody, soon we're going to release the recording of that investor call. And one of the things that he mentioned, and this is something that I've been advocating for quite a while because we have a lot of clients asking for it, is cannabis related stocks.
Yeah.
So he didn't mention specifically, and when he said it, it was news to me too, because but he didn't mention specifically which ones or how it's going to be implemented. But I definitely look for that was an amazing teaser, and I had a small celebration when he said that.
I sent Yanni Sad, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so, Horizons ETF, cannabis ETF. Yeah. I was like, can we get this on the platform? And he was favorable at the time, but I think they were already working on some cannabis solutions. So maybe it's just gone into the mix.
Yeah, I send him emails about this on a monthly basis. Like I said, this is something that I have been looking for quite a while. Um, Guillaume Cerdan says if you check BTC chart 10 minutes, you will understand the 7:20 a.m. candle this morning. So I'm looking at a 10-minute chart. I'm not sure which time frame you're in, Guillaume. So maybe elaborate on that. But that was yeah, okay. So this might be what you're talking about here. That I don't really understand what you're getting at, but cool. Um, Yeah, what I'm looking at here in 10 minutes is a bit of a short time frame, especially on Bitcoin. What I'm looking at here is more of a long-term thing. Very happy to see that we had that push
Yeah.
off of this long-term trend line. Oh, and look at that, 200-day moving average also. I
Mm.
don't know if that was intentional, but we did get that resistance almost exactly on the dot of the 200-day moving average. So what I see is a strong push off the lows, meaning that the market's not ready to go further down at this point. Whether or not that changes in the future, we won't know. If you're looking at this, as a long-term investment, that's cool because there's a lot of people who are predicting much, much higher prices for Bitcoin down the road, as it is a new form of global payment, which is outside of the traditional finance and banking sector. And uh, something that can indeed support the global economy, in my view. Um, hashtag buy Bitcoin, says Ryan. Not investment advice. Cool. What else?
Yeah, well, earlier on we were having a brief conversation. Tech stocks have been in trouble recently, but in general, I mean, stocks have been. I've a couple of friends who are professional traders in London, and it's been horrible conditions for stocks this year. It's just people who are trading on the short term side. It's just so choppy. But if we pull up the Nasdaq chart, it's would you want me to pull it up or?
I got it. I got it here already, bro.
Just have it on the daily there. You can see that's an ominous looking formation there. And yeah,
Yeah, somebody told me Head and Shoulders, right? HNS.
big old head and shoulders there. And it was border. If you scroll in on yesterday's candle, you can see that it got right down to the neckline again and then reversed course. It looks like maybe they're also
All
uh,
right. Sorry, I zoomed in way too much there. All right, let's look at. So you want to see yesterday's candle, specifically this one here.
looks like it's turned away, but it went right down to the neckline again,
Mm-hmm.
and then reverse course. So obviously some buyers came into the market around that level, but yeah, it's big look.
So here's what I see. Look, I mean, we got that bounce off the 200-day moving average. It's a good sign.
Mm.
You're saying the neckline, from what it looks like here, is going to be about 6,400 points, right? So let's say here's the neckline, right? There's our left shoulder, our head, and our right shoulder. Right shoulder is shrugging down a little bit,
Mm.
which is not a very good sign. Um, Look, there are a few things that are happening. I believe that tech stocks definitely rose far past. They far outperformed what the companies are actually improving by. So they are showing improvements in their earnings and corporate profits and everything like that. But I think that the stocks have been moving a lot faster than that. So and I think that a lot of stock traders generally tend to jump on momentum more than anything. So all throughout 2017, people were just kind of buying up the stocks because there was that momentum.
Yeah.
And the question is, now that there isn't such strong momentum in it, what do we see going forward? Um, I'm not entirely sure. I think, but we'll need to keep a look on that. Certainly, if we see a break of that neckline or a break of that moving average, I don't want to be. I don't want to hold any tech stocks if that happens.
I mean, the S&P is also very close to the 200-day moving average as well. So, you know, it's hard to know. I mean, we have to remember as well that the reason why the US could be potentially raising rates is because the economy is quite strong. So, you know, the fundamentals are pretty strong for the US right now. So it's just a chart formation. Obviously, it's only a possibility. It's not a probability that we're about to, you know, the market's about to collapse. But it's
Let's
just
hope not.
it,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. It's just a chart at the end of the day, and that's what the price action is looking like right now. But it did reverse course as it got down there. So there's obviously still buyers in the market.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you know, I think, I mean, personally, I've reduced the level of stocks that I'm holding in my portfolio. At the moment, I've got an overall of about 30% of my portfolio is based in stocks. Um, you know, if things start to improve, I'll certainly raise that. So there's the okay. So and I believe that a lot of the network did as well. A lot of the eToro network kind of shied away from stocks at the moment, and what's actually more popular now is the currency market. So
Yeah,
a lot more people involved in currency trading, not just crypto, but actual currency pairs, euro dollar and pound dollar, and we've seen the volumes on those going up pretty significantly, especially among our top investors.
unsurprisingly, it's been the year of the currency trader, that's for sure.
I think so too. Cool. On that note, I think we're going to end it for today. I think that well, let's end with Nathan Gilbert's comment. Can we buy eToro stickers? Awesome. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks, Matty.
Cheers. All the best. Bye.
Bye.